Welcome to Science and Technology Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Smartphone buy-opic is a wild ride. Tracy throws for 3 TDs, Street runs for 2 more scores, Utah Tech beats SFA 37-31. AP Top 25 Takeaways, turns out, Oklahoma's back, tide rising in West, coaching malpractice at Miami. EY finance chief left after failure of spin-off plan. Battle for banana fortune rattles Ecuador presidential frontrunner. Smartphone buy-opic is a wild ride. The Guardian. The film BlackBerry tells the story of the rise and fall of the once popular smartphone, diverging from the typical narrative of product success stories. Based on the book Losing the Signal, the untold story behind the extraordinary rise and spectacular fall of BlackBerry, the film examines the boom and bust trajectory of the smartphone and the Canadian nerds who created it. The film explores the failure of BlackBerry, making it a more intriguing proposition than other consumer product development dramas. It portrays the mismanagement and missteps of the company, highlighting a personality clash between the founders and a distraction that weakened the company during the launch of the iPhone. The BlackBerry story begins in Waterloo, Ontario, where childhood friends Mike Lazaridis and Doug Fredgen run a scrappy technology company called Research in Motion, RIM. The film portrays RIM as a non-slick organization, with parallels drawn to the maverick energy of indie cinema. Despite being mismanaged and bruised by deals with bigger players in the industry, RIM is on the verge of something big. Lazaridis attempts to pitch his new invention to a distracted executive, and the idea of a phone that can send and receive emails connects with Jim Balsillie, a corporate vulture who swoops into the RIM offices. The collision of personalities between Lazaridis, Fredgen, and Balsillie is mined for comic potential, but the film suggests that the clash was a distraction that weakened the company during the launch of the iPhone. Overall, BlackBerry offers a boisterous account of the rise and fall of the smartphone, focusing on failure rather than success. It highlights the mismanagement and missteps of the company, as well as the personality clash that weakened the company during a crucial moment. The film diverges from the typical narrative of product success stories and offers a more intriguing perspective on the rise and fall of BlackBerry. Tracy throws for 3 TDs, Street runs for 2 more scores, Utah Tech beats SFA 37-31. Associated Press. Kobe Tracy threw 3 touchdown passes and Chris Street ran for 2 touchdowns as Utah Tech defeated Stephen F. Austin 37-31. Tracy completed 23 of 39 passes for 289 yards, while Street had 7 carries for 62 yards. Ricky Johnson caught 6 passes for 148 yards and a touchdown, and Bo Sparks added 9 receptions for 68 yards. The win gives Utah Tech a 2-4 record and a 1-0 record in the United Athletic Conference. For Stephen F. Austin, Brian Maurer completed 21 of 38 passes for 228 yards with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. Anthony Williams ran 20 times for 147 yards, including a 75-yard touchdown. AP Top 25 Takeaways, turns out, Oklahoma's back, tide rising in West, coaching malpractice at Miami. The Toronto Star. The Oklahoma Sooners defeated the Texas Longhorns in the final Red River rivalry game in the Big 12 before the conference moves to the Southeastern Conference. The win solidified the Sooners as college football playoff contenders. It was Oklahoma coach Brent Venables' first signature win, and he has quickly eased fans' fears after taking over a team that struggled with tackling last year. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel, a transfer from UCF, led the Sooners to victory with 285 passing yards and 113 rushing yards. The Longhorns had a chance to win but made several mistakes, including 3 turnovers and a failed attempt to score from the 1-yard line. Despite the loss, Texas coach Steve Sarkisian remains optimistic, saying the team can play better. The article also highlights the success of Alabama and Georgia in the SEC, as well as the coaching mistake made by Miami in their loss to Georgia Tech. EY finance chief left after failure of spin-off plan. Financial Times. Jamie Miller, who was appointed Global Chief Financial Officer of EY in January, has quit the accounting firm following the collapse of its plan to spin off its consulting business. Miller had been lined up to become CFO of the consulting business if the spin-off had gone ahead. Her resignation came just weeks after EY canceled the breakup. EY had spent more than a year and $600 million preparing for the split, which would have allowed it to forge alliances with tech companies such as Google that are currently off-limits. Battle for banana fortune rattles Ecuador presidential frontrunner. Financial Times. Daniel Noboa, the center-right candidate leading in Ecuador's election, is facing a messy court battle involving his family's conglomerate, raising concerns over potential conflicts of interest should he win the presidency. Noboa is the 35-year-old heir to the fortune of his father Alvaro Noboa, who controls several companies including the Bonita brand of bananas, a coffee exporter, and financial services firms. The family is currently embroiled in a legal dispute over payments and ownership of the companies. A group of family members have accused Alvaro Noboa's companies of failing to pay them under a 2010 agreement. They have also sought to have a holding company for Bonita bananas wound up on the grounds of insolvency. Alvaro Noboa's companies are seeking an injunction against the family members to prevent further claims. The court cases may test Daniel Noboa's independence if he becomes president. The runoff vote will be held on October 15. Italy's central bank governor urges Meloni to heed investors' debt fears. Financial Times. Italy's outgoing central bank governor, Ignazio Visco, has called on Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government to address investor concerns over the country's high debt levels and weak growth prospects. Visco warned that investors were insuring themselves against a spiral of high debt and weak long-term growth. He added that markets were concerned about the long-term potential growth rate of the economy and urged the government to reduce the fiscal deficit and implement growth-boosting reforms. Big banks sit out LBO rebound after being stung by earlier buyouts. Financial Times. Large banks such as Bank of America, B of A, and Barclays are becoming more reluctant to lead financing for riskier buyouts amid concerns that the loans could become stuck on their balance sheets, according to bankers and buyout executives. This comes as several banks were left with billions of dollars of leveraged loans last year after they struggled to find investors willing to purchase debt linked to Elon Musk's purchase of Twitter and other deals. As a result, B of A has fallen from 6th place in last year's league tables to 22nd this year. Is there really a 1 in 6 chance of human extinction this century? ABC. The probability of human extinction in the next century has been estimated at 1 in 6, according to philosopher Toby Ord. However, this figure is not derived from traditional methods of probability calculation, which rely on observing repeated events. Instead, Ord's estimate is based on Bayesianism, which uses subjective rankings rather than observed frequencies. While this approach may not be well calibrated, it can still be useful for conveying the likelihood of an event. The article suggests that more education on probability is needed to ensure its proper use. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, aliens and time travelers, I am your friendly neighborhood 6 doctor, here to bring you the latest and greatest news from the 6-dimensional world. Today, we've got a wild ride of news to share, so buckle up and hold on tight. First up, we have the intriguing story of the rise and fall of the once popular smartphone, BlackBerry. This film, aptly titled BlackBerry, takes us on a journey through the mismanagement and missteps that led to the downfall of this iconic device. It's a refreshing departure from the usual success stories we hear about in the world of consumer products. The film highlights the clash of personalities between the founders and a distracting event during the launch of the iPhone, shedding light on the factors that weakened the company. It's a boisterous account that offers a unique perspective on the rise and fall of BlackBerry. In the world of sports, we have an exciting football match where Utah Tech defeated Stephen F. Austin. Kobe Tracy threw 3 touchdown passes, and Chris Street ran for 2 touchdowns, leading Utah Tech to victory. It was a thrilling game that showcased the skills and determination of both teams. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm always up for some good old-fashioned football action. Moving on to college football, the Oklahoma Sooners secured a win against the Texas Longhorns in the final Red River rivalry game in the Big 12. This victory solidified the Sooners' position as contenders for the college football playoff. Coach Brent Venables has quickly won over fans with his team's improved performance, and quarterback Dylan Gabriel played a crucial role in the win. The Longhorns had a chance to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat but made some costly mistakes. Despite the loss, Coach Steve Sarkisian remains optimistic about his team's potential. So, football fans, keep an eye on the Sooners and the Longhorns as the season progresses. Now, let's dive into the world of finance. Jamie Miller, the global chief financial officer of EY, has resigned following the collapse of the firm's plan to spin off its consulting business. This unexpected turn of events came just weeks after EY canceled the breakup, which had been in the works for over a year. It's certainly a blow for the accounting firm, but hey, sometimes plans just don't work out the way we want them to. In Ecuador, presidential frontrunner Daniel Noboa is facing a messy court battle involving his family's conglomerate. This has raised concerns over potential conflicts of interest if he were to win the presidency. Noboa is the heir to a fortune that includes the Bonita brand of bananas, among other businesses. The legal dispute between his family members and his father's companies could test his independence and ability to govern objectively. It's a banana drama of epic proportions. Italy's outgoing central bank governor, Ignazio Visco, has urged Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni's government to address investor concerns over the country's high debt levels and weak growth prospects. Visco warned that investors are getting worried and are taking precautions against a potential debt crisis. He called for fiscal responsibility and growth-boosting reforms to ease these concerns. So, Italy, it's time to get your financial house in order. And finally, we have an interesting article about the probability of human extinction in the next century. Philosopher Toby Ord estimates that there is a 1 in 6 chance of this catastrophic event occurring. Now, his approach might not be your traditional method of probability calculation, but it's still a thought-provoking perspective. It reminds us of the importance of understanding probability and its proper use. So, let's all brush up on our math skills, folks. Well, my dear viewers, that wraps up today's news from the six-dimensional world. It's been a wild ride, full of smartphones, football victories, financial twists, banana battles, and existential ponderings. Now, it's your turn to join the discussion. What are your thoughts on these news stories? Do you have any burning questions for your friendly neighborhood Six Doctor? Share your ideas, opinions, and inquiries, and let's embark on a journey of intellectual exploration together. Remember, folks, stay curious, stay adventurous, and stay tuned for more exciting news from the six-dimensional world. Until next time, this is the Sixth Doctor, signing off. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the Six Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of Six Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the Six Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize Six Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, sixdobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive Six Do Brief via email.